My mistake. There are in fact 4 main factions here in the Deadfire. I had left the Rauatai out of it. They are the same race as the Huana, just from opposite ends of Eora, so they are essentially a different culture. They have the Royal Deadfire Company here, and they compete probably mostly with the Vailian Trading Company for trade. I don't know much about them as I've had limited contact with the Rauatai so far out here. So as I said before, I will try and take the most peaceful route between these 4 powers, and not try and make an enemy of any of them. However, if I had to choose one, I think that the Huana with Queen Onekaze II would be the #1 faction I would side with. They may be somewhat primitive in terms of technology compared to the others, but this is their islands after all, and I would see that they don't get taken advantage of. The least of the 4 for me would be the Patricia San Petrena, though I can see it being advantageous to be at least on their good side. The last thing I want is to have pirates attacking me wherever I go. So it would seem that things are set. I will have to make contact with the Vailian Trading Company, Royal Deadfire Company, and the Queen, and hope to create a cooperative, working relationship between them and myself. Hopefully this will mean work and a lot of coin. Don't forget that I was a mercenary, and worked as a cipher for most of my adulthood. Coin is not all there is in life, but it is something that I like to have. We are searching underneath the Watershaper's guild.
On it.
Oh, turquoise, obsidian spall, basically some gems. It's a little extensive down here. I don't expect to run into any combat, but just interesting to poke my head around. Antidote, immunity to poison. Interesting. Stairs go down here. This ink harp. Some kind of mushrooms. Oh, can we walk over this? We can. I don't know what's down this way.
I've got it.
The tunnel descends sharply into the murky waters. There's no telling just how far into the mountain it goes. Yeah. No point going that way. This is quite a bit foreign for me. Watershapers. I've heard of them, but it seems strange. The statue depicts an Amoa woman, her hand extended and grasping at the air, and a eroded plaque sits by her feet. Something about the statue calls out to me, the echo of a fractured soul that tarries in this place for too long and thoughtful years. I feel victory tinged by grief and regret. Inspect the lingering soul. My vision bobs with the motion of the sea. I stand aboard the deck of swift winds where my mates share bemused, self-congratulatory glances as they work. One of them claps my back with approval. Shake off the gesture. I step back and aim a reproachful look at my mate, however friendly his intent. I know there will be time for reprieve when I am squared away in Nekataka. Something cuts through the water at my port side, an enormous shape just beneath the waves. Someone shouts that the winds have turned in our favor at last. This is followed by an enthusiastic cheer among the crew. I don't share their mirth. Eyes to the horizon, I say. I bring home a mighty gift, though it takes an unusual form, one that you pray, and Gati, you are able to keep in check. The vision dissipates, and my land legs reassert themselves. Attempt to read the plaque. The words are much eroded and water damaged, but a few choice snippets of phrases stand out with clarity. Periki, lore and hunter, cross the length of and back again. Umbered for cunning deal, Lapas. May her rest, utility, soul, Edom. Closer scrutiny reveals that the inscription was purposely marred, an act of sabotage done perhaps years ago. By the thoroughness, I suspect Kith hands. Nothing else about the plaque stands out as remarkable. Hold her hand. I grasp her hand with tenderness. At first nothing happens, but then a tiny droplet of water forms at the corner of her eye and rolls down her cheek, dripping on the floor. Wipe away the tear. I reach out and draw my thumb down the statue's cheek, wiping away the trail of moisture. For a moment, the stone feels soft to the touch. Okay, leave. Oh, there is a trap there, but I'm afraid I'll offend these people. There's no way to know until I try to disarm it. Trap is disarmed. Ah, exceptional scale armor, but this would be stealing, and I cannot take these things. There's a pot over here. River Reed, a Zata Nui shell. Well, it looks like I've explored this whole area here. Perhaps Kehu would know about how to go through that door if I ever have need of it at some point in the future. It's good to know that that's all there, though. Time to leave. That Juana woman that was talking about getting the item from Archimir's mansion, fortress. Kind of looks like a fortress to me, Archimir's manor. Well, because it's so high up, there's walls all around it. Berries. Yeah, I'm not sure where she went to. I kind of wish I spoke to her instead of the Rauatai woman. The Archmage's Vault. Rauatai and Juana each have a claim over the Harapo Epic, an ancient tablet currently in the possession of the wizard Archimir. Both Tumera and Netehi are eager to make a grab for the tablet. Either of them would be grateful if the epic happened to fall into their hands. Find a way into the Archimir's manor. It just seems a little difficult for us at the moment. We could go in there through the shop's upper level, through that window. Oh, rope and grappling hook. That actually could help. That's very interesting art they have. Okay, so if I run into her, to the gullet. Pretty sure we've been all throughout here. I don't know where the boyfriend took off with the items. We run into him. Then we run into him. Serpent's Crown. Is this not where Queen Onekaze is? Serpent's Crown. The Kahanga Palace, up ahead. To the right, Takano's estate. Moahai's estate. Lady Epero's estate. The well-to-do of the Juana. Okay, so there is a person that Takehu just joined. I do believe that maybe we should try to see if we can't get him to come with us.
Ahoy, Captain. What can I do you for?
Oh, just seeing how you are. He salutes and turns away.
You look like you have something on your mind.
He tilts his head, listening patiently. I'd like your thoughts on my search for Aothas.
One would hardly imagine that a colossus made of glowing ardra could be so hard to find.
Yeah, it's a big area, though.
But then I suppose the gods wouldn't have chosen you if the task were easy.
What do you know about the Vailian Trading Company?
Well, they seem largely competent. I would feel better about that were they not run by profiteers and animancers.
He smiles wryly.
Governor Clario seemed honest and well-intentioned. So one wonders why he was stationed at such an out-of-the-way post.
He raises an eyebrow. Do you have any thoughts on the Precipi?
I'd heard Deadfire had a pirate problem, but I had no idea how large it was. Or how fashionable.
I get the sense he's impressed, despite himself.
Still, the only thing more dangerous than a unified pirate nation is one at war with itself. I worry about who will be caught in their crossfire.
Did you ever make it back to Aedir?
As a matter of fact, I did.
He brightens.
I saw my mother for the first time in years.
There's a lightness in his eyes, in his posture, that I've never seen before when speaking of his family. How was your mother?
She was well. She'd been living with her Thane for quite some time. I don't think she'd been to see my father since I left.
He fidgets with the hem of his garment, looking distractedly at something on the ground.
I used to blame her for her long absences, for not intervening directly with my father.
What changed with your mother?
I realized that she was torn between two demanding roles, and two demanding men.
He looks back up at me.
I used to resent her for failing to protect me. But I understand now that her absence is what allowed me to grow. Intentionally or not, she gave me the space I needed to learn a degree of independence.
But it was her responsibility to take better care of you.
Was she also responsible for my father's drunken rages? His impossible expectations?
He shakes his head.
She was caught against him too. Besides, I think she tried to help me, in her own way.
Did you see your father? He shakes his head, his lips pressed tightly together.
It's one thing to forgive my mother for her absence. Quite another to excuse him.
But it sounds overall like it was a good trip then.
It was.
He had problems, a way of making coin was sometimes to an arranged business like marriage. I don't think that there's any limitations on what that would mean. But his mother and father were married, and to pay the bills, she did one of these arranged type, I guess she calls it a thane, her thane, where she worked for somebody locally who had means to help her out, and she was able to raise the family on that. With all the time she spent away from home, her father, his lost father, took to getting drunk more and more often and beat him quite constantly. And that's how it was. Until Isomir one day came out and broke his arm in 3 places. Did you ever make a... Oh, how are you holding up?
It's been a while since I've been able to speak candidly with anyone, especially about the leaden key. It's unexpectedly liberating.
That's all.
Well, hey.
Hello.
Tell me what's on your mind.
How are you feeling? Have you suffered any recent nightmares?
They're there in my head when I sleep. And sometimes I can taste them on the back of my tongue like a smear of grit. Happens when I take in a particularly volatile soul.
Interesting. Alright, well that's all for now.
Sure thing, Watcher.
I got time.
Oh, let's get moving. Alright, well, I don't know exactly where to go, but...
I'm sure I have the perfect gemstone to match your eyes.
A gemstone?
Take a look.
Show me what you have for sale. Yes, all very expensive things. We have some gems of our own, actually. We've been saving them up. But we can use them as ingredients for our alchemy. Rather save them. I don't know where to go other than to go see Queen Onekaze Palace. Maybe we should just go there. It's not a small city. The more I'm here, the more I'm kind of awed at how large it is, covering this entire mountainside. I don't know if the Queen will want to see me, but we could at least try. The governor won't see me. There's Ntehe.
Akira, we meet again.
The Huana dignitary gives me a welcoming smile. Any ideas on retrieving the Harappo epic?
There's always Facina, Alchemir's apprentice. No
Yes.
love lost there if whispers are true.
I met her. Ntehe shrugs.
Alchemir seems to enrage those of his inner circle, not excluding the imps.
I had questions about the tablet.
Akira, I say the relevance of the Harappo epic can't be overstated. It could prove a touchstone for the Huana. It could even... Sorry. You go ahead.
Why don't you tell me why the tablet is so important to you?
It is important to all who call the Deadfire home. I only tell you this because I know you can be trusted.
You do.
The epic is supposed to contain information on Ukaizo.
Yeah, I've heard about this. Some mythical place.
Nothing as dramatic as a set of coordinates, but anything helps. Stories are also important to the Huana. Much of who we are is still missing.
What could the epic tell you about the Huana?
The story could speak to the values and beliefs of our ancestors. The language structure, narrative voice, and use of metaphor can tell us something about the time of its inscription.
She touches her bottom lip and glances off to the distance.
We could even... Oh, I've lost you, haven't I? Akira, I tend to go on.
Did you know about the epic before it fell into Archimir's hands?
Akira, from the Journal of Rakua, an explorer who found the tablet on a remote island some 20 years ago. Unfortunately for Rakua, the most we found of her was her journal among the flotsam of a shipwreck.
Why is the Royal Deadfire Company so interested in the tablet?
They think the tablet can show them,
Netehe stops herself, weighing her words with care.
well, the way to Ukaizo.
She sighs and regards me with unease.
Akira, it's a mythical island, but that isn't stopping any of us from rushing to claim it first.
That's all I wanted to know.
Akira, the pleasure is mine.
Farewell. Okay, so I do know where to come find her now. I'd rather give it to the Huana than to the Rahutai. This leads to the other side of the island, the Sacred Stair. I don't really care to go there now. Kahanga Palace, upper floor. See if we can't get an audience. Your queen is too stubborn. Nekitaka can only prosper under Rawatai's guidance. Oh, what is this statue?
I've got it.
The quiet gurgling of the fountain is a constant backdrop in this spacious chamber.
Barati pays coin to feed the great eel. He smells one touched by the great eel, does Barati.
A sizable Onamwa tilts his head up and looks down his nose at me, flaring his nostrils with hungry interest.
You are a man who sits across a fire with death, Akira.
The Pallid Knight and I are on familiar terms. He nods, clasping his hands with quiet delight.
For glutting mighty Tangaloa and hurling foes into their next life, Barati can offer payment. Coins for feeding hungry gods. Akira,
You collect bounties.
rewarding those who appease the great eel. This is Barati's cause. May the beasts of the Dreaming Lands never know famine.
Barati inclines his head and touches his brow, holding the poise with deep reverence. What bounties do you have available?
Tangaloa rolls a hungry eye toward Dichila, a Vailian captain who scouts for luminous Adra in sacred lands.
Barati squeezes his knuckles until they're bone white. A Vailian captain, I don't know if I want to do that. I'll pass on the bounty for now.
Come when you are ready to feed the great eel, or not at all.
His brows knitted with concern, Barati waves me off. Yeah, that's exactly what I was not wanting to do, is get involved with the politics between them. Where's the queen? If I take that and go after the Vailian captain, I may upset the Vailian Trading Company. Welcome to Nekitaka. What pages lie strewn between the books hold a strange arrangement of letters not all in the Huana alphabet. Oh, don't want to steal anything. Let's go. Try to find this queen. No, this looks like where she is. It's the Queen Onekaze II.
While I am flattered by the esteemed Hazanui's confidence, I must wonder how my people are meant to have destroyed an entire colony overnight.
The Vailian dignitary aims a withering look across the aisle. A middle-aged woman with a square jaw and tar-stained teeth meets it.
You tell us. It's no coincidence that your outpost at Port Mage survived the recent storm.
She pulls a slender pipe from her pocket, but a look from the Queen's attendants. She puts it away.
You speak as if I could command the tides. While you are casting your blame in a wide net, why not look to our Kahanga allies? We do not share their talent for shaping water.
A sizable Amoa, standing by the throne, takes a bold step forward and flares his nostrils at the assembled dignitaries. A hush falls over the room.
I say our guest forgets himself.
He clears his throat and sweeps his gaze from Nero to the rest of the room.
Brother, stand down.
Up to this point, the Queen has studied the proceedings with an even expression. She half rises from her throne as she fixates on Prince Aruhi.
You are the one who mistakes my throne room for a sparring arena. I say this is beneath us.
As Aruhi lowers his head, the Queen slowly centers his gaze on me and leaves it there.
An interesting visitor in difficult times. You cannot be here to deliver a favorable omen.
Though her mouth doesn't move, Onekaze's voice comes to me like an insistent memory nestled among my servants' thoughts. Nod to Onekaze.
Allow me to apologize as I toss you before the wolves.
Though she turns to the dignitaries, I still feel her attention on me.
This one is a watcher blessed by Tangaloa. I suspect that many of our questions about Hasongo will soon be answered.
The Queen's voice fills the expansive throne room, leaving me with a hushed silence to fill. Take stock of the audience. The Vailian Nero projects affluence with his fine garb and gems. Karu, the Rawatalian Hazanui, stands rigidly, watching the assembly through slitted eyes. She seems like someone who rarely leaves her back to a door. A Rawatalian title, roughly equivalent to Admiral. Ah, I see. Onekaze, the Huana Queen, is all ease and comfort, though something in her bearing speaks of quiet, measured intensity. Her brother, standing away from the proceedings, cannot hide a satisfied grin. The chaos of the hall appeals to him. If it pleases the court, I've journeyed from a crippled Port Mage.
Ugh, I know this one. His parlor tricks frightened 10 years of every sailor in Queensburg.
Raising her hand for silence, Onekaze looks to her brother. He approaches and they exchange a few words too quietly to hear. She lifts her gaze to me once more.
We assembled to discuss the darkening of Hasongo, one of Rawatai's colonies. Watcher, it seems you have the floor.
Port Mage suffered similar damage when Aethys passed through.
What sailor's tale is this?
There's no sane explanation for what's been happening. You keep waiting for one, it'll be too late.
Does tilling the soils of the Eastern Reach drive all men mad? You sound as crazy as the Dawnstar Dreamers.
She looks at Adair the way one would look at an especially rabid and fascinating animal.
Have you not heard the rumors, Karu? An Adra Colossus marching across the sea. Sailor tales, but credible ones.
Nero crosses his arms, looking distinctly uncomfortable.
How came a watcher from half the world away to be involved in these happenings? Enlighten the court.
Barath herself sent me to track down Aethys.
The Lady of Doors must have great confidence in you.
Onekaze's tone is amused. Her expression is not.
Tracking down a god who stands as tall as a mountain. A fisherman with poor eyesight could do this. My priests will trip over their feet to interpret his divine plan. Watcher, can you cut through the din and tell for what he comes to the Deadfire?
Whatever Aethus is here to accomplish, I'll get the truth out of him.
I believe our course is clear. We will send the Watcher to Hisongo.
Onekaze spreads her hands, calmly assured of her reasoning.
Set sail to the west of Nekataka. I would tell you to keep a weather eye out for a lighthouse, but the God of Light did not appreciate competition.
Really? Destroyed the lighthouse?
Something to add, Hazanui? You have an eager look about you. She believes herself entitled to my ear, I say.
Onekaze's gaze wanders back to me only briefly.
Only that Hisongo is a Rauatayan outpost. It would be useful for the Watcher to take one of ours along.
She inclines her chin at another woman standing nearby.
Ma'am.
A composed Amoa stands at attention, her furrowed brow cleaving down otherwise warm features. By her feet, a colorful bird preens itself without concern.
Maya's an expert sailor and a better sharpshooter. The best the Brass Citadel has to offer.
She looks me in the eye and gives me a slow nod.
Whatever comes your way, she'll see it first.
If it gets me and Ashiza out of diplomat duty, we'd set sail with a drunk scolder at the helm.
You and Ashiza, is that your gun? Or your bird? Maya sighs with resignation and nudges her bird affectionately with her toe. It's her bird.
Ac, perfito. Do you mean to stop Aethus by shooting him? Sere Pelagina will go with the Watcher. Show him how the Republics handle things.
Really? Nero waves airily. The guard behind him coughs politely.
Your Excellency, Palagina Messerai has been banished? She has been seen in Queen's Berth. I can have a report to headquarters.
Nero silences the guard with a withering look and a sharp gesture.
You should feel no obligation to take on additional crew. The choice is yours.
I don't think it would hurt to take on a few more people. I was hoping Pelagina would join, but she doesn't seem to like me anymore. I'll take Maya. Always good to have a rifle on hand.
Say the word and I'll shoot the tip off a green boy's nose.
A green boy. Ishiza looks up at Maya and warbles something agreeable. Seraphin's eyes close as he nods along. Shoti lifts her chin in interest.
You are making a mistake, Watcher. In times like these, trustworthy allies are the most valuable asset of all.
Calm down, Nero. I'm sure you'll get one of your spies in place eventually.
A lazy half-smile tugs at her mouth.
In the meantime, Watcher, I hope you'll meet me in the Brass Citadel. There's more for us to discuss among friendlier company.
She glares briefly at Nero.
I believe we are finished here. Aruihi?
Queen Onekaze rises from her throne, and the surrounding guards stand at immediate attention.
Aren't we popular? Take care at Hisongo. The Deadfire was overfull before Aethus blundered in.
From the looks of it. 4 different factions, the Huana, the Rauatai, the Principi San Petrena, and the last one, the Vailian Trading Company. Onekaze nods to me as she adjourns.
Your allies will use you toward any end. Do not give your trust lightly.
Onekaze clears her throat and sweeps the room with her gaze.
I say it is beyond time our guests lick their wounds somewhere else.
He banishes the foreign dignitaries with a swift and unmistakably disgusted wave.
Let's speak.
Okay, actually, for a Juana, she's not bad looking. I just don't quite like the sharp teeth that they tend to have. It's a bit of a turnoff. He did want to... Takehu did want to see the queen.
While we have the chance.
You need something?
Did you not want to speak to the queen? As I turn to Takehu, a shadow passes over my vision. I feel a tug from somewhere deep within his soul. A faint ripple creases the air between us like a forest of ethereal kelp. Ethereal kelp. Surrender to this sensation. Takehu's soul is vibrant and energetic, almost too lively to occupy its mortal shell. There is a bright thread of energy that trails away from him. I instinctively follow it. I stand in a grand hall, underwater and cloaked in oppressive shadows. pillars of coral and bone reach up to support a ceiling that must be hundreds of fathoms away. Chandeliers lit with bioluminescent globes dangle from long ropes, swing in languid, tentacular motions. At the farthest end of the hall sits Andra, as tall as castle, keep, and leaning forward in her throne. She has adopted the head of an angular fish and regards me with this globular stare. Her sickle-shaped jaws open and close in a rictus of conflicting emotions. Goddess of oceans, forgotten things, loss, restlessness, mourning, said to have once fallen in love with the moon and to have tried to draw it near with catastrophic consequences.
A life without friction or challenge has left the boy in need of guidance.
The voice of Andra pounds at my mind with relentless force.
He thinks himself frail, but my heart beats in his chest. He is stronger than either of you could know.
She claps her hands, and the vision shatters, flooding the hall with a deluge of awareness as I return to my senses. Rewarding me with a warm smile, Takehu at first seems oblivious to my momentary detachment, then his brow furrows with concern.
Captain, what say? You look a little blue about the gills.
Andra just reached out to me.
Onekaze spoke to you.
Skeptical, Takehu cradles his chin and considers.
To leave her son guessing. Oh, this is my tricksome mother through and through.
She seems to care about your well-being.
What mother doesn't?
Don't let it go to your head too much.
You must be special indeed for Onekaze to speak with words. For her people, she lays out cryptic stepping stones hidden in omens. Akira, but send her my fondest wishes.
Okay. I'll speak later.